Hello and welcome to TFT Worlds, Day 1, Game number 2. Enjoy.
All right, not too shabby. As you mentioned, we've got a lot more people to introduce for anyone who may be coming to the stream for the first. So you mentioned Zyko, of course. We have got several players here who come from historical championships. Zyko in second place, almost managed to claim it at Fate, but didn't quite get there.
Yeah, and Tidal, another runner-up, this time from Dragonlands, ends up grabbing that third in the first game, and Tidal is someone we're very excited to be watching. Tidal is potentially a lot of people's favorite coming into this tournament.
So we're currently looking at the Valor's like Hollow, and Valor's Hollow is actually really good for the Earth players. The previous like Portal Cardinal was not good, so let's see how the players utilize this to their advantage.
All right, so yeah, we'll keep an eye out closely on who can make the best use of those drops coming in. Of course, we made a big point in the previous game about our players who were able to find themselves the earlier Cassiopeia, but let's check in on our legends before we go too much further.
Yeah, I'm looking immediately. Ace on Twisted Fate. This is something we thought pretty much everyone would be off of by the time the championship came around, but Ace staying with that gambler there, and Isotoma going to be the only other person not on Earth in this lobby with the Ezreal.
So this means that Ace and Isotoma are willing to go for the win streak with their item augment advantage, while all the other Earth players are going to try to greed for their synergies for a strong late game board. That's how the lobby's going to look like.
All right, and we have got a pretty interesting start here for Ace. Does have a very early access to that Jace. Potentially could be picking up Piltover. Are you guys liking Piltover at all at the moment?
Piltover isn't really that strong, contrary to popular belief, because it can get denied in Termacy. But oh,
Yeah,
wait!
why? I mean, he's got the
Okay.
direction,
The odds
right?
of finding Orianna is 94% at 4 rerolls and 99% at 5 rerolls. Let's see if he does that.
I mean, we'll see if he decides to commit for it, right?
Rich get richer and roll for Orianna. Let's go.
We've seen, a good amount of Piltover historically, but this patch it's been a little bit weaker. I've still seen it a bit in the NA regionals, and it was more of a top 4 comp than it actually was a first place comp, but it felt relatively consistent rerolling for the Jace and the Jinx.
So just a quick reminder about our Portal Valor's Hollow. So at 2-3 getting a component item anvil, on 3-3 a support item anvil. How impactful is this going to be?
The dirty Demacia players right here. Right here. That guy that gets the Demacia spat 2-1. He's going to get another one later at 3-5. Yo.
Yeah, we actually do need to have our eyes on them in this game for that reason. But as far as Valar's getting the early component, it's not going to be the hugest deal overall, right? Everyone's going to get it. Should be relatively equal. But when it comes to support items, there can be a massive gap in the quality of support item.
I mean, look at the dirty Demacia's putting the Demacia spat onto Soraka so she can go infinite like a strategy. Yeah, I don't like it. It's terrifying.
baby, it's all right. We've just started the game. We've got plenty more games to go before the championship
Oh, I'm
is
sorry, I
done.
had a trauma.
Yeah, Demacia can't hurt you, baby. You're on the desk. Demacia can't hurt you.
Okay.
I don't know if I would argue that's completely true. Do you think so? We'll be able to hand out some heart of his own. The Noxus, another big vertical. We could see go all the way to 9.
All right, so we got a Noxus spat so far. We got the Demacia spat so far. What are the other players in the lobby looking towards to? So we have 5 Ancient Tomes, 1 Bruiser spat, and 2 item augments. Let's see how the lobby looks like.
Yeah, so with that, we actually have 2 players on Bruiser. That's going to be Zyko and Michael. And then we've got Tidal going towards the Slayer, which we saw Wet Jungler play. And as you had called out with Wet Jungler, it did struggle in the early game, but it did have that really good scaling. So we'll see if Tidal can repeat that. But also, King Sung Jung also has the Demacia, which we've got 2 players potentially looking for that out.
Yeah, 2 players contesting Bruiser, 2 players contesting Demacia, and then the Slayers, of course, as I said, would likely be contesting the Demacia as well.
I think this is a really cool start from Psycho. This is a start that a lot of people fail to see because a lot of people like Noxus or Demacias, but going for a Bruiser spat off the Cassiopeia carry is actually not that bad either too.
Yeah, it's really good to go into the Azir late game, and we see the Archangels, which is a pretty solid Azir item to play, especially in the Bruiser version, because you have all that time with that HP to ramp up the AP.
Yep, did a pretty decent job here, though not enough to keep Psycho on any kind of streak of his own. We'll keep our eye out closely. Just looking through some of the other options here. Of course, remember, we will be getting that component anvil coming in here to push the power of the boards ever so slightly.
So the question is, does Psycho want to go for a reroll strat, or does he want to just level up and look for value? That is the decision that we do need to watch. I would recommend going for value more than rerolls.
Yeah, personally, I've really not liked the reroll bruisers on this patch. I know that Cho'Gath can still work out if you are hitting very early, but this is not nearly enough Cho'Gaths in Stage 2 for me to feel confident in that line at all. So I'd love to see play for that Azir. We've even seen Neela as a secondary carry or Mordekaiser as a secondary carry, and you have, very contested units, of course.
Okay, I'm seeing Ace that Thomas like Israel strat to keep all those items on the inventory for late game.
Ah, that's the secret. Don't give away your strategy
man.
as long as you can. Cass, I'm with you on the whole Bruiser idea, though. Certainly, we know it's a contested Bruiser lobby, so hitting the 3 stars is not so good. Kind of, where are you guys in terms of, you need a front line for your composition. Are Bruisers the way to go?
Bruisers are really flexible. I think they're quite good. I mean, one of the big things that Bruiser became popular with picking the emblem is that your 4-cost carry can be very flexible with it. You just play Bruiser frontline, and then whatever 4-cost you hit, you play for that. And then a lot of times you'll pivot to Azir later if you get the chance, but if your items tell you to go for something else, you can play for it, as we do have a spatula on the carousel.
We have a spatula on this carousel in this Earth lobby. There is a Noxus spat. Of course, the Demolition players won't be able to use that. Oh, actually, the Noxus player might dominate it because T-Lies is actually the only one going for spat.
They're just giving it to him, and he even has this belt right now.
No one's denying it.
Wow,
But
no one denied it.
Yeah.
Noxus has got the potential to
just-
go 9 and take up the board.
Whoa.
So line this up for me, guys. We've got, we know we've got Demacia in the play. How is Noxus going to line up with a contested Demacia lobby?
No, this is terrifying because T-Lies is looking ridiculously strong right now, so he's gonna win streak, and he has 2 Noxus spats. That means he can go into level 9, get a Velvet 2, get an Aatrox 2, Noxus spat those, and guarantee first place.
Yeah,
He
that-
is actually looking like a strong first.
That's the big thing, because a lot of times when you're stuck on playing around 4-cost with the Noxus, it would be Mordekaiser who's your ideal, which is going to be so contested in this lobby. But the thing for T-Lides is if he can just find a good item carrier, save HP, go 9, he's not contesting the 4-cost, he's going for the 5-cost.
So since he has a win streak, he can just pick Econ Augments. Round 3-2, Econ Augment, 4-2, Econ Augment, and just rush 9.
All right, 2 win-streaking players, Tyson and TDs, up against each other, Slayers versus the Noxians, who've already managed to get a few stacks underway. You can see the front line is going to be pretty tough to bust through on either side. But Naviri being pulled back a little bit from the front line means that it's going to be a walkthrough for Title. And the Noxians are going to be a little bit disappointed not to get those stacks in.
Yeah, the lobby should be thanking Tidal right now. As Bebe was mentioning, if T-Lides can actually win streak this whole stage, his economy's in a good shape, and then he's able to pick up Econ Augments on 3-2, potentially 4-2, go to 9. He's insane, but Tidal has at least slowed it down.
So for those who don't know, if you go for a Noxus Rush 9 strat, but if you don't have a full win streak, you just naturally hit level 9 at stage 5-5. So you gotta survive until then, but you can actually make it faster if you get Econ Augments. So that's what T-Lai wants. He wants Econ Augments to be able to rush 9 and hit his 5 cost.
We'll have to see if he can get there. I mean, T-Lides would be continuing the success of North America on the day so far, right? We saw Toronto Tokyo pushing levels, playing a 5-cost board. You know, we've got T-Lides set up to potentially do the same thing.
All right, since just a confirmation on the points we've got the lobby, since I think we will have to have those updates a little bit later on. These players played against each other in the previous game, and it was Kang Sung-jong who took the first place with Zyko in second. So if they can do well again here in this lobby, they are set up very well for the rest of the competition.
I think Aces Toma's like board is really interesting. So he created an item to get BIS with Israel, and he's actually taking the Econ approach as contrast to the win streak approach. I am very curious to see what placement Toma's going to get.
Yeah, especially because we've talked a lot about these item traits, or item legends, as in Ezreal and Ornn, as being for tempo, not actually playing the loose streak and just going for that BIS. So this is kind of very different than how we've analyzed the legend, and if Isotoma can make it work, that's going to be massive for him.
I love what you said because the placement that gets from Twisted Fate and Israel decides, is Earth dominant or is Earth not dominant? It's going to be a very important data that we can use.
And Tidal, able to win streak all the way through to Krugs. We see Kang Sung-jung also lost streaking. So we've got 2 players who were able to hold on to their streaks. Everyone else kind of, middling, right? We've got some 3 streaks as well.
Yes, of course, we're looking towards the very, very late game for some of these players. You mentioned the chance to go up to 9 and really push the power of their board. It is, of course, only T-Lides who's able to get hold of the 2 guaranteed spatulas, or 2 guaranteed emblems so far, to make sure that's for definite. But Kang Sung-jung, still the potential to come out big economically.
Okay, so there's 2 routes for T-Lights to itemize. Number 1, he can pick a tempo itemization like Statics and Crown Guard and save as much HP as possible. Or number 2, he can build Velvet and Aatrox items like Time Resolves and try to build into his endgame. So he needs to make a choice, preferably after the second augment choice.
All right, for now, at least up to Noxus 5. So again, got a little bit stopped on the momentum train by Title, who is, of course, still win streaking. We'll see if perhaps we can see some other ones coming out across other players.
So Tidal still streaking with the Slayer emblem early, and as you talked about last game with Wet Jungler, Slayer scales very well. As we see Tidal having this good start, it actually does set up for a very good top 4 potential. But what is kind of the condition for the Slayer board to actually win out the lobby?
So that's a really good question, and the reason why that's a good question is because the items are very different than what Junglers in the previous game. We have Giant Slayers and Jewel Golem, which is AP ratio, and in this case, you might actually consider using Kai'Sa as your main Slayer than Fiora, and that could be very successful. Let's see what Tidal brings to show us.
Of course, if you've not come across Tidal before, you perhaps would be most familiar with him from the Dragonlance Championship, where he was able to take his second place against a hugely dominant board. As Tidal might be about to lose
he finally
the
lost the
streak.
streak.
So close.
That's okay. 3-1.
It was a pretty good run.
Silver. That could be Tiny Titans for, who was it, T-Lights earlier?
Yeah, T-Lides if you find Tiny Titans that help him get to that level 9.
Late Game Specialist is also an augment that does help players lost. Let's see if he's offered any of those routes. No, he is not. T-Lights is not offered.
Yeah, red buff's
any
pretty good
econ.
tempo though.
All right.
We'll take a moment to talk about Ace on the top corner. Going to be bringing up a few of those missed connections there to try and bring that board online as soon as possible. Something that's interesting. It looks like multicaster setup coming through for him there. Do bear in mind, Ace came in dead last in game 1, so needs to make up a lot of ground here in game 2.
Yeah, it looks like mostly just using that missed connections for econ. I mean, it is just a lot of gold from a silver augment, and so really solid positioning for that to try and push levels. We saw him use it to get to level 6.
Wait, I think T-Lights actually has a Fiora with a Noxus pad. Yeah, that's
He does,
5
the
Noxus
Fiora.
with a Fiora and a Noxus pad. That's amazing.
Yeah, things are really coming together here. Michael, who finished out in, I believe, 5th in the previous lobby, one of our two Bruiser players going up against T-Lights, who, of course, is hungry for more stacks, hungry for more wins.
Okay, this is slightly worrisome for Michael because his itemizations don't really match his current upgrade boards. He's pretty strong once he gets to edge 1 to maybe a 0-2, but until that point, it is going to hurt.
Yeah, I want to call out quickly, Nem actually picked branching out, so looking for the high roll with the early Ancient Archives, trying to find something good to go alongside it, and actually find Slayer, which is going to pair perfectly with that Demacia emblem he had from the start of the game.
So we know we've got contested Demacias, we know we've got contested Demacia Slayers as well, and Bruisers. We're seeing our players really converge on similar lines of play.
Wait, I'm looking at the Demacia spat on Shen, and that still gives gargoyles? I thought they changed it to Protector's Vow.
Well, the truth will out as the Banshee's coming. Bearman, of course, we are in the Valor's Hollow. You mentioned, Cass, that the quality and the usability of the support item could vary immensely from board to board.
Yeah, going to be just kind of watching to see what everybody picks up. I mean, right, we see this already picked up on the side of Nem, getting that Banshees, but just trying to take a look through what gets picked up, and especially looking for things like Zephyr or Shroud.
I also like the flexible builder from them, using the Aphelios. That's actually very, very using your own shop to minimize damage intake type of decision making. So I do want to compliment him on that.
Well, going further to the item quality parts, you see the Black Cleaver over there for Ace. Ideally, I suppose, when we're building our board so much around the Mordekaiser later on, you'd love to be able to put on as many items in here as possible. We've now got a Quicksilver, effectively, that can be added on to that RFC to make Nem's late game Mordekaiser very scary.
So if I were to comment on this support item choice, is that when you're in Valor's Hollow where everyone gets a support item, you do want to stay away from Jarvan a bit, because Jarvan can get shrouded, Zephyred, or ignored with Banshee, so that is a very core aspect when building your composition.
Yeah, it's interesting too though, because there are those support items that want you to group up, which can be beneficial for the Jarvan. However, as you said, so many of them counter him, and so many of the popular ones counter him, and I think that's the big difference. But there's so many Demacia players, they can't stay away from Jarvan. They have to pick up this unit.
Of course, of course.
All right, so as we go through our carousel here, just a quick note about where our players are economically in this lobby. A lot of them have kept their coffers relatively full, as we've not got a huge amount of streaks running. Psycho, T-Lights, and Michael down there towards the bottom on a big old lost streak.
So Michael right now wants a Sejuani and an Azir. He's going to use Silco with those Cassiopeia items till that point. He does want to find a bruiser. Sejuani found. All right, let's see how far he gets with this.
Yeah, picking that up, I mean, it's big for Michael to try and turn this loss streak around. He's on a 6th loss. He's dropped down to 52 HP. The board's still carrying the Cassiopeia, but we have seen Cassiopeia carry throughout Stage 3 generally do quite well. Stage 4 it starts to get rocky.
So right now, Michael's at 5 bruisers. So who's the 6th one? People might think Sion, but it's actually Renekton, our fine, lovable alligator that's not in the party at the moment.
Well, it's a little tricky to find when you're at level 7, but hey, Michael at least does have a lot of lost streak and a decent amount of HP to play off to eventually turn that one up and get this ball fully online. The Virtue of the Martyr taking a little while to pop through there. Kang Sung-jung, of course, our winner from the first version of this lobby, is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was lost streaking quite a bit. He's all the way down at 43 HP, but now we see that the Mordekaiser is fully online, right? He's got the Quicksilver alongside the Demacia emblem to give it that Radiant Ashes.
Okay, so now the question is, does Michael want to roll more to get a bit more strong and find at least in a 0-1 star, or does he want to chill? I guess he wants to lost streak until creeps at least and just use his board to minimize damage and take.
All right, taking a quick look at the HP totals in the lobby. I see Toma, Michael, and Kang Sung-jung all around the 40s, 50 leaping up. And then we've got 3 players on 90 plus HP in the lobby. Title, Psycho, and T-Lights, they're all looking real good.
Yeah, I mean, the lobby split is absolutely insane, but it's a question of, has the economy worked out for these players who have been losing quite a bit? Have they been able to build up enough econ? Have they been able to salvage enough to turn these into big boards? And in Michael's case, I mean, he's still a ways away from putting a really strong board together.
So this is a point where the players now need to decide, hey, do I all in at 7 just to save as much placements, or do I want to greed econ so I can get a first place board? This is the time for to make decisions, and the players need to be very decisive.
And of course, after this lobby is done, we will be having our first reseeded competition. We are in snake seeding, which means if you are up the top of the table, you'll be playing against players considerably lower than you on the standings for the most part. So getting a strong start to the tournament is very important.
You know, I actually want to talk about something real quick that we kind of missed at the start of the game with Michael as we see him kind of towards the bottom of the tables, is a lot of his practice was actually on Ornn and playing tempo, and he did swap to Earth for this tournament, so I'm curious if the fact that he was prepping so much on Ornn has put him in a less comfortable position with the swap pretty late in the game towards Earth.
Okay, we're now looking at Toma's board. He actually did find a considerable amount of upgrades, but no single synergy direction, just a bunch of random value units. So maybe Bilge Waters might be the route he wants to go for. Okay, he's rolling down. He did skip the Twisted Fate, though, so maybe he doesn't want Bilge Water. What does he want?
We've certainly got the chance for a little bit of reroll, but yeah, money is running out as HP is also looking a little shaky. We have got lots of items to slam in here to make this board stronger, but I see Tomo not with a lot of room to maneuver.
Yeah, he wants to find a Zir really bad, right, to pair it up with this Nasus and then add an extra strategist to the board, but he doesn't hit, and so this board overall has kind of hit this middling part where it might be good in early stage 4, but it's going to start to fall off quickly.
So this is the Strategist Misfortune 3-star composition as contrary to 7 Bilge Waters. 7 Bilge Waters might be a bit risky because he does not have game plank, so he's going for this hybrid comp. Let's see how well it does against the other players in the lobby.
So Cass, you know, as we've now got a little bit of a more clear idea of what Icy Tama is going for, how do you like the Misfortune approach to the game compared to some of the other boards we've seen so far?
Well, I mean, I like Misfortune from a tempo angle, but Isotoma played for the, you know, early greed of trying to hit the perfect items instead of just slamming items that are solid, overall good, and then pushing towards the composition. So it's coming online way too late, and he doesn't have enough HP to support it. I know Brazil's been really specializing in the line and having a lot of success, but this game doesn't feel like a good representation.
So it's going to be a double gold, 1 silver lobby. It means that the lobby is going to be relatively poor compared to a prismatic lobby. So let's see exactly how the boards are going to end up with. I don't think anything's going to go too insane.
Oh.
Let's see.
You say that, Title picking up the Petrocyte shackles at the tail end of this one. Bear in mind, we are in a very Demacia-heavy lobby, and Title's just picked up one of the big guns.
So it's actually funny because it's also going to be going up against T-Lights Noxus, and it's going to add that extra damage there, which is a very funny thing to mention on that.
Wow, nice nice level 7 Velvet pair there, by the way.
Yeah!
Not too shabby. I would want to point out as well, we have to see a lot of martyrs coming in across the board. Our players look like they're going for healing across the board as we get into these big late game brawls.
I mean, once this man hits the Velvet 2 for maybe the Kurizol, and once he also manages to find 6 layers, that Velvet is just going to one-shot everything. That's terrifying.
Yeah, Nem's certainly going to be looking for a win out with that being the case. I mean, really going to be contesting up against T-Lights, who's held on to so much HP. He finally actually lost his streak. T-Lights is the one we're expecting to try and push level 9, and he was streaking all the way here until 4-2 and just finally took a loss.
I feel Nem chose a good route that we can take if we don't hit 4 costs. Just get 5 costs.
Yeah, there you go. Just hit.
That's just math.
On level 7.
Right, I suppose it's easy when players of this caliber are making it look exactly as so, but yeah, for Nem, Things are still looking a little bit dicey. You do want to take note, of course, of Icy Tama and Ace dropping into the 20s as well.
Wow, things are looking really, really better for Michael. He's got an Azir too, and he's got Econ left, and he's got a Bruiser Velvet too.
Yep.
What's up with these players getting Velvet? Like, wow.
It's still a Bel'Veth 1, but I really like Bruiser Bel'Veth in general, right? Like, he's got this this Bloodthirster and Night Harvester on it, and because of the fact that, you know, Night Harvester gives that bonus damage when you get low, but you have so much HP overall, if this Bel'Veth falls low, she gets the shield, she heals back up. She's incredibly strong to add to the fact that he does have the upgraded Azir, and I think that is the biggest part of this.
Man, look at the HP bars on that 5-cost 1-star. That is a really tanky damage carry as well, too. My God.
He's buying a lot of time and a lot of space for
Look
Zafir
at
to
that
get the
healing!
job done. Yeah,
Full health.
ending out the round with barely any damage left on the two main carries. Michael's going to be feeling pretty good. A big win streak, but just above him on the table, Kang Sun-jung is doing just the same thing.
Yep, win streaking all the way through. We saw him at 43 HP early. We pointed it out. Is like, oh, he's lost streaking a lot. Hasn't lost since. And coming off of a first in the initial lobby of this group, it's an incredible play so far from Kang Sun-jung, and very excited to see him.
Now, this Kurzel is really important because if there was a Velvet in the Kurzel, then we would see a 5-cost 2-star with a synergy spat coming out soon. So thank God for the rest of the 6 players that are not building the Velvet for that.
Oh boy. All right, take a quick, again, glance across everybody else. Psycho up the top with T-Lights. Untitled as well. We noted the top 3, they had a big gap on the rest of the lobby. That gap has now closed considerably thanks to Kang Sun-jung and Michael's damage.
Okay, T-Light did make a Jarvan too, but he might want to consider selling that. Right? The reason why is because he just wants to rush 9 and get 5 cost 8 SAP. So that 12 gold investment on the Jarvan might not be as important because right now he's not really going to get much kills anyways.
I think that's going to be the big question, right? Because he's carrying Emilio still all the way in 4-5, which, you know, if you don't have the damage, the extra front line is not actually going to make much of a difference. Let's see this fight against Kang Sun-jung, because this is one of the stronger players in the lobby. He's been streaking for quite some time.
So usually if T-Lights did not level here, he would be able to hit level 9 by 5-1 or 5-2, but this is going to delay his levels a bit. But I feel like the longer it goes, the less favored it is. But oh, the Emilio's fighting still pretty well.
Yeah, it's going to
unit
soften the loss a little bit here.
2-unit loss. Good, not bad. Okay, that investment was worth it.
Yeah, so T-Lights has still got a good amount of HP if he is fishing towards that level 9, as you would have expected from very, very early on in the game.
Gangplank.
Hey, not too shabby. We can upgrade here if we want.
Yeah, it's a good pickup. Again, it's expensive, but if he sells out of one of these units to play it, then it actually, you know, ends up working out. And T-Lights, of course, is going to be looking for that level 9, that 9 Noxus he's trying to cap out. T-Lights actually very good at playing for first place. We've been watching the scrims a bit to see, you know, how these players are doing. And T-Lights actually had a 35% win rate in scrims overall across 14 games, so not a huge sample size. But he's been having a lot of success on this patch playing against this field of competitors. And once again, he's trying to look for another first place here.
So right now, Nem is just hoping that he survives stage 4, gets to stage 5, hits level 8, rolls for that Velvet, and hit, and hope that can make a comeback in 6 layers. Let's see if he can save as much HP as possible so he does not die accidentally.
That Bel'Veth is looking nightmarishly strong, fighting from the back line, but the front line is evaporating. All the damage dealers in all the world may not be able to save you from the raw power on display here from Psycho. Currently in second place, tied, 59 HP. This board is huge, and it's ripping Nem apart.
Yeah, Zyko hits Nem very hard there. Nem down to single-digit HP, 1 life, 64 gold here, though. Gonna be able to find this level up to 8.
Okay, this is actually up for debate. So right now, Nem does have a Demasha spat, and he could have given that to Mordic too until he found Velvet to save HP. So I do wonder if that was a bit of a punishment. I guess everything's forgiven if he just hits Velvet too, right?
Well, I suppose the bigger question now for Nem is, how do you claw out of this corner? You've got a win streak on Ace just above you. You've got all the pressure in the world bearing down on you.
It really is this Bel'Veth too. He's saving gold on this round, even though, you know, he will overlevel a little bit. And then he's just going to send it down and try and hit it. He has the pair, so he just has to find one.
Actually, the scary thing is that he also needs Kiana for 6 layers. He doesn't have Kiana, so the 6 layers will be delayed. So he also wants a 2-cost unit with a 5-cost unit. Is that going to show up? Kiana, Velvet, Kiana, Velvet, Kiana.
Winter, not a big upgrade. Where we
go?
go?
My roll downs, dude.
Oh boy. It looks like we may not find anything. Gonna have to sell off because Nem has no more room to maneuver. What a disappointing
Oh,
roll.
Kiana, so fast. Nice, all right.
Got the 6th Slayer in,
Okay.
which is massive for Nem. Gonna be able to slam these items. Gotta get something down, right? You've got a lot of items on the bench.
Let's
We are going up
appreciate-
against Ace, who is also quite low on the Nila carry.
Oh, look at that damage. Everything melts down instantly with the 6 layers, right? It's such a huge difference. It's a 40% damage difference right there. Okay.
Oh, but
Whoa,
it might
whoa,
not be
whoa,
enough.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Very close.
whoa, whoa,
Mordekaiser doesn't
Okay.
get the auto.
Don't die yet.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh, he goes down. I mean, he found the Kiana. He made the pivot in the last seconds, but he still can't hold on against Ace and goes out in 8th place in this game.
That's so disappointing. You can see the player just above Nem on 27, 25 HP and win streaking as well. It was always going to be fighting out of the corner, but that does at least remove one player from the field and guarantees one more point to everyone as the top of the table starting to pick up upgrades as well.
It's going to be a big uphill battle for Nem now because it was a 7th in game 1 and now an 8th in game 2. Really rough start to the tournament for Nem, but we'll see if they can claw their way back in the next few series.
It's not the position you want to be in, as you said, with the snake seeding. You'll be playing against the best players for the rest of the competition pretty much. But Icy Tama, we noted before the strategist board coming together, we've currently got ourselves 6 misfortunes. We're looking for 9.
Tama really wanted to get that Azir, but he couldn't, so he's just selling for Zaya to make his Nyla a bit more stronger. I do find this board to be very interesting. Great Jarvanals coming in. Nyla is supporting the damage, and look at all the healing that Toma has with healing orbs and Martyr as well, too. His composition is actually holding out pretty well.
Yeah, it's actually making this Nila just an absolute Giga Chad in the front line. It's just absorbing all that healing, getting all those healing orbs as the backline fires away. And she survives the entire time while tanking all that damage. It's working out a lot better than I would expect this comp if you just look at it head on.
I mean, we've got a lot of high-quality units here, even if Icy Tama doesn't have a lot of gold to play with. We go across with Michael as well. We have the chance for the 2-star Sejuani coming in, but we would have to sell something.
So right now, he is probably just going to chill because that rise at the left bottom corner is actually a Freljord rise, which does an insane amount of damage in CC, so you never want to replace that. I think this board from Michael is top tier at the moment. It's probably the best he can cap out. He just needs to find his upgrades.
And he's facing Tidal, who has this like corner position that you would expect from Demacia. And this gets hit very hard by the Freljord rise as we see it hitting all the important carries. The question is, though, are these Slayers just too much? Are they going to pump out too much damage? And watching that Fiora as it tries to take down the Bel'Veth, that's going to try and answer the question.
Ooh.
Here comes the next ult. Does it do enough? It takes out the Bel'Veth, but the Azir stays alive. And it looks like he'll hold on.
Oh boy, that was a little too close for Kampa, but Title goes down into 12 HP. T-Lights and Icy Tama, they're all in the danger zone. We're up for another very close lobby.
And
How
the
much
lobby
gold does
is
T-Lights have?
The
That's the
lobby
question.
is super close because all of the players actually have very decent compositions at the ready. They are very stable, they're very well built, and we can actually see how that snowballs in a top tier game.
Yeah, I'm still curious though, because T-Lights just grabbed a Bel'Veth off of this carousel. If he can go to 9 right now and then swap in the Noxus, roll down, try and hit the Bel'Veth too, this is massive for T-Lights, but I don't know how much gold he has. It feels like he has not been spending if he's been dive bombing HP this hard.
No, he's only got 9 gold in the bank. He's got a bigger loss.
Wow.
He's got no more HP to really make it happen. We did think T-Lights was set up for success if level 9 could be found, but it seemed like that could be very far away.
We're back to titles board. He does have 6 Slayers, as we saw earlier, but his Mordekaiser's 1-star board looking pretty random so far. Let's see if he does find a bit more upgrades because that's what he wants to find.
The Petricite Shackles, as we noted before, is in place, which does seem to mean we're going to be putting a lot of weight on this Fiora to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, our two kind of HP leaders have flip-flopped with the bottom of the lobby, right? Tidal and T-Lides were heavily in the lead, and now everyone else who was econing early was able to make just much more powerful boards as Isotoma's going to run into Tidal right now, and this is a very close fight for the bottom.
Yeah, we've got potential for 1, maybe 2 eliminations in this round.
You're on Nyla! You're on Nyla!
Yep, the Nyla is going to be...
Fiora got it!
The Fiora goes down as well. The Mordekaiser standing amidst the rain of bullets, getting the heal off the Slayer, getting the resets in, and Title stays alive. Icy Tummy is out of there. T-Light stays alive as well.
Oh, it is such a close fight. The Mordekaiser just grasping on for life with that Hodge healing. Every single auto attack just going from no health to just a sliver.
And that's a
He's able to
1-star
find it.
Mordekaiser, a 1-star.
Oh man, Toma should be so sad about that because he did such a good job doing the best with the resources offered. But it seems that Title's positioning on Fiora onto that Nyla was just way too good.
Yeah, and Tidal potentially going to fight up against T-Lides. He is in the pool, and that can be another elimination fight coming up. We saw T-Lides picking up that Bel'Veth off the carousel, and I'm curious what the board has come up to, but we are going to see Kingston John instead here. Both of them, we're seeing these fights. Can it be eliminations? Looks like there's a Noxus Gangplank 2 for T-Lides.
Kaisa 2.
That's a massive pickup overall, and the Kaisa as the other Noxus. These boats are coming through doing a lot of damage, but it looks like he might still lose to Ace. The Neela's doing quite a bit, but there's one more cast from the Kaisa. Is it enough? The Aatrox trying to push through. One more cast, and it's not enough, but T-Lides lives. He hangs on.
Wait, why is T-Lides level 8?
He couldn't get there. He had to roll down so much.
Oh, gosh. All right. So I think we don't see any eliminations this round somehow, some way. Ace on a win streak further up the table as well. Oh, gosh. We can see so much money has been spent with one exception. Kang Sung Jung, who won the previous lobby in first place with the money in the bank.
So there's a lot of strong composition right now. We got 6 bruisers. This board from Michael is really well built. We got the Freljord Rise, we got the Azir, we got the Velvet. So we actually have 3 high-cost carries, while the high-cost bruisers buy time in the front. And we also have a Demacia setup. We also have all these cool compositions. I am excited to see who is going to get first.
Yeah, and Michael still has not been able to find that Bel'Veth 2, but now he's at least on level 8 odds, so the chance that he might actually get there is, you know, a lot better. And if he actually hits this Bel'Veth 2, suddenly this board becomes absolutely monstrous, because the itemization and Bruiser Bel'Veth in general is so incredibly strong.
He probably wants some tank itemization for Sejuani here so he can buy more time, but
no.
It seems he goes
Death Cap for Rise.
Death Cap
well,
for
maybe
Rise.
maybe for Azir.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the backline optimization is looking very good indeed. But for T-Lides, you mentioned before, such promise. 2 Noxus emblems in play from almost the beginning of the game, but stall out without enough money. We've got so many potential executioners coming up.
This is so unfortunate because I feel like T-Lides was in a really good spot to get first place, but since he rolled down 8, he is actually going to just settle for maybe 6th or 5th, which I don't really know was the best choice because I think Toma and Nen would have gone down anyway.
Look at the healing on this Gangplank. Every time the boat comes through, he's rubber banding back up, but finally he goes down. It's up to the Kaisa to finish it off, but she is going to get there. And so Michael is going to fall very low as T-Lides hangs on for another fight, trying to claw back a placement. As he does, his title falls.
Top
Wow.
5?
We
Remember, I guess Gangplank 2 is good.
Gangplank 2 is pretty good. I mean, he's got the Bel'Veth potential too still, and she can use those Kaisa items theoretically.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
But it's got to be bitter for T-Lides. T-Lides as much as he's managed to push up much further than it seemed like he was going to be able to. He's spending every piece of gold he has just to try and improve his position rather than trying to win the lobby.
And I actually love this frontline Gangplank because he's got the regen coming through from the Hodge. It's taking a ton of damage and then healing back up immediately from that boat, and it just provides so much extra HP for the board.
Okay, so he's up against another bruiser player. We got Mikkel as the first one, and then it's Zyko. Let's see how this fight goes. Zyko has a Dinger 2 for the turret damage. Is that going to be good enough to take down Gangplank? Gangplank ults! He heals back with the Hand of Justice, but
no! The Kaisa's still up! The Kaisa's still up!
Yeah, there's so many sources of damage here. T-Lides holds on again. Michael goes out.
Wow,
T-Lides has clawed, bit, and managed to somehow get into the top 4.
So since Michael's down, Velvets are more open. They actually might be uncontested to the point where he might eat it.
Yeah, I mean, if he can live one more too, he's also got first pick on the carousel, and that can give him that belt as well.
Noxus spat for the Aatrox spot.
Third Noxus spat.
Yes, why not? Why not?
Sure, why not?
Let's go.
We live in the land of opportunity still, though. Ace is up at the top. Kang Sung Jung has dropped down a little bit. Ace is currently on a big old win streak with the maximum HP of anybody remaining alive.
And Ace needed it, right? The 8th in the first game, wanting to bounce back with a big statement, and he is currently on a win streak at the highest HP as we see him fighting Zyko. And on the other side, we've got T-Lides.
Keep an eye on Zyko down and T-Lides on that left-hand side. Kang Sung Jung up in the left-hand corner. On a level 9 is going to be so incredibly obnoxious. Noxians doing the work there will tear through and get the job done. As Zyko goes down, we're waiting to see how that lines up HP-wise. T-Lides is gone. He made a heroic one.
By 1, -9 to -10. Zyko going to hold on for third. T-Lides goes out in 4.
Wait, that's a Bilgewater spat. Can Ace use that? Is Ace a Bilgewater comp?
He's looking at Ace, what he's got. I mean, he's playing around
he's not a
Neela, but he's playing Neela and Azir. He's playing more around the strategists.
All right.
Oh, boy. All right, we got 2 remaining. Kang Jung, as you mentioned before, we can see up there the 8 points. Ace with the 1 point. This could still be, of course, this finish for Kang Jung is already hugely significant, but for Ace, 1 more point could push him into a much better lobby.
So it's level 9 versus level 8, so Kang Jung does have the advantage in numbers, but there is a lot of AoE damage from Bilgewater, Misfortune, and Nyla, so we'll have to see how the fight angle go. The Jarvan CC, the Nala CC, let's see exactly how it interacts.
Yeah, we're watching this Jarvan. It's a big, impactful unit in the fight. We see that there is an overall clump on the right side. So first jump, going to stun multiple units here, but there is that CC reduction coming through. Watching this Mordekaiser trying to push back onto the Nila. One more jump from the Jarvan.
He's a monster!
And it looks like Ace has a very big lead, or Kang Jung actually has a very big lead in this fight with that Mordekaiser. The Demacia is just too strong.
So both comps are really strong, but it is Kang Jung that has that level advantage in the 5-cost 2-star, and that is just enough HP for him to push over the lead. Is there any way possible for Ace to make a comeback here?
It would have to be the 3 stars, but he's not quite getting there. He doesn't quite have enough gold. He's one-off Nautilus. In fact, he finds it full out of Misfortune to try and find the Nautilus and did get there. Can this front line make the difference?
All right, you got 1 more chance here. Ace has got only the single life left. Kang Jung still maybe just about has enough HP in the tank to possibly survive the round. We're looking, of course, to see how much damage this Mordekaiser to do. The front line is stronger. Can Korea take 2 first places in a row?
Yeah, we're watching that front line. Can the Nautilus hold? There's the stun from the Jarvan. It gets pulled back around. We're waiting for the second cast as the Mordekaiser chews through. Takes down that Nautilus. Jarvan not going to find the back line this time. And overall, it looks like that front line might have been enough. The Aatrox 2 not going to be able to punch through. And Kang Jung down to 1 life as well. They're 1 life apiece.
Look how close this lobby is. That 1 3-cost 3-star is actually worth just good enough to make up for that level difference, to take enough damage, and it did magically get 1 last ult off in this situation. Let's see how players position in order to get the advantage now.
I mean, let's talk about this, because we know we're going to be seeing broadly the same boards going up against each other again. What kind of positioning could swing this one?
Well, I think it doesn't matter how Ace positions. Ace wants to keep Nautilus in the middle so the enemies swarm around it, whereas Kang Jung probably wants to make a super play with that Mordekaiser and Queen so it can snipe Nyla faster so it doesn't do damage. So I think Kang Jung moving the Mordekaiser to leftmost side and Queen to leftmost side to dodge the AoE damage is probably the best way to approach it.
Well, I will eat my words. Kang Jung has got something new to bring to the fight. We've got the Heimerdinger being brought in with the regen turret, so there will be an extra layer of distraction. But you're right, it's all about the Mordekaiser.
Jung needs to dodge the Misfortune. The Misfortune has a Black Cleaver. That's a lot of resistance removers. But if he does stay still, he is going to take all that. He's going to go for a fair fight. Let's see if it's good enough.
Yeah, we'll see if he can avoid the shred. It looks like this MF might be able to get a cast on multiple frontliners, but again, we're watching the Jarvan, and there's a good spread this time from Ace. The Jarvan not being able to get CC on the primary targets, and so far the Nautilus is holding strong, but look at this Moore just ripping through, and Jarvan finds the Nila in the back line. That might be the difference overall. But Nila still now shredding through. It looks like it might be a win for the Nila. Ace, no, but the shot from Quinn, and it's just an Aatrox. It looks like Kang Jung might grab the second first place in a row, and he starts the day going 1-1.